Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, a mortar shell exploded in Israeli territory from the ongoing war in Syria, prompting an IDF response which targeted Syrian military positions not far from the border. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas says he is willing to sit at the negotiating table with Israeli officials in a renewed effort to advance a two-state solution. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, following a meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, stresses that Washington and Moscow were not rushing to establish cooperation on Syria. A mortar shell exploded in Israel's Golan Heights yesterday in what IDF sources said was errant fire from the ongoing conflict in Syria. The shell landed in an open area, causing no injuries or damage. The IDF announced that in response to the shell that exploded in Israel's territory, the Air Force attacked launchers belonging to the Syrian military of President Bashar Assad, stressing that the IDF views the Syrian regime as solely responsible for any attacks emanating from Israel's northern neighbor. A Syrian military official confirmed that damage was caused by the IDF attack last night in the Quneitra area, which is adjacent to the security fence with Israel. He told the official Syrian news agency that Israel, which is an enemy of Syria, continued to support the terror organizations operating in the war-torn country against President Bashar Assad. Now to the West Bank city of Ramallah, where Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said during a meeting with a delegation of people with disabilities that he is willing to sit at the negotiating table with the Israeli leadership in a renewed effort to advance a two-state solution. The Palestinian leader stressed that the basis for all negotiations with the Israelis would be the establishment of a Palestinian state within the 1967 borders, which Israel captured from Jordan during the Six-Day War, with East Jerusalem as its capital. President Abbas stressed that without East Jerusalem, which he referred to as the crown of all Palestinians, no final solution would be implemented. President Mahmoud Abbas stressed that the Palestinian people want to achieve their rights through a peaceful popular resistance. He noted that considering the fact that Palestine was recognized by the United Nations as a non-member observer state, it gave the Palestinians the ability and accreditation to achieve recognition from international bodies one step at a time. Abbas also reiterated his demand that Israel must stop its construction policy on lands the Palestinians want for their future state, a demand he said was acknowledged all over the world. In response to Abbas's remarks, a source in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office told TV7 that Israel maintains its position in which it is willing to meet with the Palestinian leadership at any time and any place for direct negotiations without preconditions. The source noted that if Abbas was indeed serious, the Israeli leader would be willing to visit the West Bank city of Ramallah tomorrow and resume a process that would bring about a viable solution between Israel and the Palestinians. Now to Jerusalem, where Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop met with senior Israeli officials at the start of a two-day visit to Israel and the Palestinian territories. The Australian top diplomat's visit to Israel is aimed at promoting bilateral cooperation, the development of a treaty on innovation, including a landing pad in Tel Aviv, and to discuss regional security and the Middle East peace process.
This is an opportunity for me to ensure that this relationship is not taken for granted, that this relationship will continue to be nurtured by both sides, and that it will continue to flourish. We have a friendship based on common values. I also think that our relationship has the potential to enter into new fields of endeavour, particularly in innovation, where Israel is a world leader. We are delighted that our new innovation agenda adopted by the Australian government and embraced by the Australian people through the last election will see a landing pad in Tel Aviv, which I'll visit tomorrow, which shows that Australia has much to learn from Israel in the area of science, research and innovation, but we have much to learn from each other.
While reaffirming Australia's absolute enduring commitment to the State of Israel, Foreign Minister Bishop took the opportunity to invite Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to visit Australia next year in what would be the first official visit by an acting Israeli Prime Minister to the continent in history.
I just want to greet you and say that your friendship is terrific. Australia, the government, and yours personally, and we appreciate our friends.
I want to take this opportunity to reaffirm our absolute enduring commitment to the State of Israel and our friendship, and invite you to come to Australia. And we're thinking there's a little window of opportunity early next year maybe, and the Australian public would warmly embrace you, welcome you.
Now, with regard to the conflict in Syria, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who met with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines of the G20 summit in China, stressed that both sides were not rushing to establish cooperation on Syria.
I've said all along we're not going to rush, and we're not going to do something that we think has less than what we believe is a legitimate opportunity to be able to try to get the job done.
Secretary Kerry noted, however, that many of the technical issues have been worked out, yet there remain a couple of tough issues that hinder the implementation of a resolution.
An awful lot of technical things have been worked out. A lot of things are clear, but there still remain, as I say, a couple of tough issues. We've got to figure out how to make certain both of us can be comfortable with a resolution to those issues.
Military officials from the United States and Russia, which back opposite sides in the Syrian conflict, have been meeting for weeks to try to work out terms of a deal meant to bring about nationwide cessation of hostilities and provide humanitarian aid to millions in dire need. The war in Syria has thus far claimed the lives of some 500,000 people and misplaced some 11 million people, causing the most severe refugee crisis since World War II. Now to northern Syria, where Turkish-backed rebels clear the Islamic State from Turkey's southern border, securing a 90-kilometer corridor, which is equal to about 55 miles, and marked a substantial advance in Ankara's declared plan to drive out the extreme Muslim militants from its border, while stopping an advance by Kurdish militias that Turkey says pose a major threat to national security. Turkey has been dealing for years with the Kurdish insurgency led by the internationally recognized terror group PKK, which aspires to establish a Kurdish state on lands in Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. The hopes of doing so, however, are rejected by regional powers, with the last such declaration yesterday by Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim, in which he emphasized that Ankara would never allow the formation of what he referred to as an artificial state in northern Syria.
Fırat kalkanıyla oradayız. Çünkü sınırlarımızı korumak, vatandaşlarımızın can ve mal emniyetini sağlamak, Suriye'nin toprak bütünlüğüne sahip çıkmak için oradayız. Suriye'nin kuzeyinde yapay bir devlet kurulmasına asla ve asla geçit verilmeyecek.
Well, the United States and Europe also regard the PKK as a terrorist organization. Washington sees the Syrian Kurdish YPG as a separate entity and as its most effective partner in the fight against the Islamic State in Syria. That position has caused friction with Turkey, a NATO member and a partner in the fight against the Islamic State as well. Thank you for watching us. You can also watch us at TV7israelnews.com or TV7.fi. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. For more updates from Israel and the region, please join our Facebook page at TV7 Israel News. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan, Erev Tov and Shavua Tov. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, Please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.